Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's version of the Awesome Dynamic Show. We have some great topics we are going to dig into today. We have Paul, Tim, Robin, and Blake along with me, Terry Levin, and I'm the Director of Sales over at Awesome Dynamic. We are glad you have joined us, and I'm going to turn it right over to Tim. Tim, we're going to talk about how to market your product on Amazon today. Is that correct?
That is correct, Terry. Thank you so much for that great introduction. All right, so today we're going to talk about how to market your product on Amazon. Going to cover promotions, giveaways, advertising campaigns, and Amazon programs. All right, so let's kick it off right away with the first item, which is Amazon sponsored products. What is Amazon sponsored products? Basically, it's their pay-per-click advertising option where you can either automatically target your searches to be able to find your product, which is where you can set a bid for an entire campaign. So you say, I want to spend 20 cents per click. And then Amazon will basically decide on what keywords are going to be used during the auto-targeting campaign. Then what you can do is after you run an auto-target campaign for a while, this is usually what we recommend if you're not quite sure what people are searching for, especially being on Amazon. It's a good idea to get some analysis about what people are actually searching for on Amazon. So this is a great way to do it. You can analyze that search term report to be able to get some really good information about what people are looking for. And after you do an auto-target campaign like that, you can start adding negative keywords in there. So let's say if someone's searching for irrelevant, using a search term that's irrelevant to the product that you sell, then it would be a good idea to add some negative search terms so that they don't spend money on looking and clicking on your product if they're not going to be interested whatsoever. So after you do all of that, you can start doing some manual targeting. So let's say if you know there's some specific keywords that really do relate to your product, then you can set up a manual campaign where you can specify the keywords to use. And then for each keyword, you can actually set a different custom bid for each of those keywords. Any questions about the targeting, about the different kinds of campaigns that you can run under Amazon sponsored products?
Well, Tim, I had a few comments on why it's really important to pay attention to some of the data that you get through doing some of the pay-per-click advertising, which you get a ton more data through the Seller Central framework than you do for the Vendor Central framework. And that's a lot of the stuff that we use for search engine optimization is about these keywords, and that data can then be used to do some optimization of your listings in an organic way. So you get data such as the cost per click. You get which is obvious, and that's what you're spending on there. What we really want to see is how many impressions your ads are getting, how many people are actually clicking through on the different ads based on the keywords that they searched, and then after they get to your detail page, how many people are converting into a sale. And if we can filter the keywords based on the impressions, but more importantly the clicks, but even more importantly the conversions, then we can start to whittle down and kind of distill the keywords that we should use to optimize the listings in an organic way, meaning the product title, the word we're using inside the bullet points and the description, in a way that will get it found better in organic search rather than the ads. So even though the ads can bring traffic into your listings by having them in the ads, getting that data and then using it to your advantage and leveraging the keywords that perform the best can really get your product to show up much more high in the search without the ads. So that's a great piece that a lot of people don't get about, why we might do this without necessarily the intention of an ongoing pay-per-click campaign, but just grabbing that data so we can optimize those listings. That's a really important piece. I want to give an example, and that is on a particular product that we had. We found that the main keyword that we knew was what the product was called. We knew that it would be found for that, the material plus the product name, but we also found that a lot of people use this product in conjunction with sweaters. So we saw that when, I think it was something like 66% of people that click through on the listing bought the product when they used the word sweater in conjunction with the product name. So we actually customized some of the content on the page to be the product name with the word sweater to enhance the organic placement of the key or of the product for that particular keyword.
Great. That's some really good insight into how you can really leverage this information. Want to cover two more things specific to just an overview of sponsored products. One is, this is a very important thing. They do have certain restrictions, such as you can't actually, they're not accepting any new pay-per-click or as sponsored products applications for the jewelry category right now. So if you plan on doing sponsored products and you sell a jewelry product, not going to be possible. And we're going to touch a little bit more on other restrictions. So, in fact, we just had a question come in from Dave. Does the cost per click vary? Yes, you can vary the cost per click. Basically, when you place a bid for a campaign, you essentially are saying the most that you are willing to spend. So what will happen is Amazon will spend up to that amount for each click, and sometimes it'll actually be less. And at any point in time, you can actually specify a different amount. So let's say if you're spending 50 cents per click, but you decide, hey, I actually only want to spend 25 cents per click, you can change that on the fly at any point in time. And then you also specify what your daily budget is so that you don't, spend a ton of money on a bunch of clicks that are irrelevant. So you can specify like $5 a day, $10 a day, whatever you want to. Once you get to that budget with those clicks, then you will have to basically wait until the next day to be able to start showing up again for those search terms.
Tim, I also want to comment kind of general PPC strategy, or generally how it works, PPC being pay-per-click. And that is, generally, if you're in a competitive pay-per-click environment, the more you pay, the better placement you get. So if you're bidding, let's say $1 per click, and someone else is bidding $1.50, you're going to have a higher placement in $1.50 than the person that's bidding $1. Now, when that person with the higher placement exceeds their budget, so let's say their budget is $3 a day, but they're bidding $1.50 a click, they get 2 clicks, and then their ad goes down for the day, and the next person that's up in the chain, let's say the next one is your ad at $1, that'll then be at the top until you exceed your budget, then that comes off the list. But there is a whole bunch of people on that list in a more competitive type area. We're going to talk about the different areas in a moment that are available for Seller Central versus Vendor Central. But the different areas that are in there where it is competitive, the more you pay, the higher placement you get. So that becomes an important factor to consider. Now, when we talk about doing these tests to get those keyword data, that keyword data that we're talking about earlier, that's where you can spend a very low amount of money per click. So you could do like 10 cents. And yeah, you're not going to get that top position, but really the reason why we're running the campaign is to get the data, not necessarily get the placement. So we can still get accurate data with a low spend in terms of a per click, and do like $1 per day. So you're talking about $30 a month, potentially up to $1 per day. And that'll allow you to gather at least 10 clicks worth of data every single day for 30 days. That's 300 clicks that you can grab that data and do a lot of information mining with. So that's an important factor to consider. If we're looking to data mine, lower amount is okay. We're really looking to kill it in terms of placement. The more you spend, the better. But you also want to temper that with, well, what words are converting? And that's why maybe being a little bit more conservative at the beginning would be good. And then you up your spend with a targeted campaign for words convert really well. So you're not just spending money on people who aren't converting into buyers. Back to you, Tim.
Great. Thank you so much, Paul, for explaining that in more detail. All right. So we already talked about the restrictions in the jewelry category. Okay. So let's say I start to do these campaigns in Amazon sponsored products. Where exactly do my ads show up on the Amazon interface? So we'll go through the different places, and keep in mind that Amazon is always experimenting and trying different things. So these locations are not always set in stone, and they're, like I said, could change at any point in time. If there's anything that we've learned about Amazon, they change very rapidly, and you always have to be on your toes and expect change whenever you're dealing with them. So let's go over the different locations. So the first location that you'll often see ads is at the top of the search page. The next place is oftentimes you'll see along the side of your results a bunch of different sponsored products, and that's on the right rail is what they call that. You can also see them in the middle of your search results, and you can see them at the bottom of the search results. The other place that you can see them is actually in the product detail page. You'll actually see sponsored products related to this item. So those are the 5 main places that you'll see them when you're browsing from a desktop or a standard web browser. Now, let's say if you're surfing on a tablet, what you'll see is right in line with your other products. You'll see products that are sponsored, and it will say sponsored right next to it. On the mobile browser, you'll actually see also them in line, very similar to the other one. And then in the mobile app, you'll see them also in line with the other products. All right, any questions on that before we move on to the next page, which is the requirements of to be able to do pay-per-click campaigns?
I don't think so. I think we can move on to the next slide there.
Excellent. All right, so sponsored products requirements. The first thing that you need to do or need to have in order to even unlock the ability to do any kind of pay-per-click campaigns is you need a professional seller account, and that's that $40 per month. And this is one of the benefits among many that you get to be on that professional seller account. The next thing is that you have to have the ability to ship to all U.S. addresses. Now, this is not applicable if you use the FBA program because you already are shipping to all U.S. addresses. But if you're filling yourself, you need to make sure that you have those options enabled. You also need to have a valid credit card on file. Amazon does charge your credit card directly for, at least in the past, they have charged your credit card directly for all the sponsored product ad or all the spending on the bids and everything. But I know that they are right now switching everyone over to having those fees get charged against your actual Amazon account balance instead. So I see that you need to add a credit card into your seller account anyways to get set up. So this is kind of a you're not going to have to add anything new to be able to do this. Now, you can only advertise new products only. So what that means is you can't do it on used or refurbished products. And then another specific category or type of product that is not allowed are adults products. And then lastly is that your product has to be eligible for the buy box in order to qualify for the to have ads ran against it.
And Tim, on that one, I want you to review a scenario that you recently had with a client of ours that was not eligible for the buy box, and what some of the easiest ways of getting into that is if you aren't. And just so you know,
Sure.
a lot of people know what it is, and a lot of people don't. We're going to do a whole webinar on that. But he was the only. He listed his own product. He is the only seller on the product, but he still didn't have buy box on his own product. So, Tim, if you could explain a couple ways you can get that.
Sure. If you're a brand new Amazon seller and you fulfill your product yourself, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to win the buy box right off the bat. And there's many items that go into or variables that go into determining how you win the buy box. But the quickest way to do it is if you're doing a brand new product, ship in some into FBA. If you ship them into FBA, that means Amazon is going to fulfill the product for you, and you'll get the buy box almost guaranteed. You got to think of it from Amazon's perspective. You're a brand new seller. Amazon has no idea what your track record is for being able to successfully ship the product to the customer in a timely manner and to be able to provide great customer service, which are all important things to Amazon. So by going into the FBA program, Amazon knows that they're going to handle all that for you, and it's almost, again, guarantees that you're going to be able to get the buy box every single time.
I know we haven't really covered this in a past webinar. Can you just explain what the buy box is?
Sure, yeah, and we I think that's going to be a future Amazon topic, is talking about the buy box and different ways to become more eligible for it. But the buy box is, and we could probably pull up a live example here while I'm trying to explain it. But the buy box is when you go onto Amazon and you have the box on the right hand side of the page that says add to cart or buy now. What you'll see is that sometimes, like I don't know what we do, cell phone case. So I'm going around here and I see this cell phone case right here. This is what's called the buy box right here. Okay. This is basically saying that it has an add to cart button right there. If no one has the buy box, you'll see a little button like this where it says that there's one or several people selling the product, and you actually have to click on this and then click on the person that's selling it to add it to the cart. So it becomes a two-step process to be able to purchase the product, as opposed to just a one click to add it to your cart.
So if I can elaborate on that, right now in this situation, what we're seeing on this page, Amazon.com has the buy box, meaning it says ships from and sold by Amazon. See that? Highlight that, Tim.
Yep.
So Amazon.com has the buy box. It ships from them because it's in their warehouse, and it's sold by them. That's sold by whoever, blank, variable, other seller, can change based on who has the buy box. And that last piece after sold by, could change based on who has the buy box. And that can be based on price. It can be based on your seller feedback rating average. It can be based on how well you have your seller metrics. Is it possible to be Amazon? Yes. Is it likely? Depends on a couple factors, mostly on price. So that's where a lot of people that participate in the Vendor Central program, where they essentially sell that product to Amazon directly wholesale, it's not actually Amazon making it and selling it unless it's a specific situation, but Amazon actually is buying that, they put it in the warehouse, and that's why they are the seller on the item. So if you're a manufacturer, that's how you're getting the buy box sometimes, is because Amazon's there. Now these other guys that might be buying for you and selling retail as a manufacturer, you can set that situation up for yourself as well by not selling to Amazon, but selling through Amazon, just like those other guys. Cut them off completely, then you get the buy box 100% of the time. And that's usually what we are coaching the larger manufacturers to do, because they could drastically increase their bottom line exponentially just by really paying attention to making sure you have the perfect storm to make sure you have the buy box, and it's through the retail profit margin route. So it's a little bit more in depth, and like Tim said, we're going to get into another webinar specifically on that topic and what all those factors are. But for now, Robin, does that pretty much answer your question?
Yeah, so it's different than the buy now button.
That's correct, and that whole buy now, I guess, it's more like the one click buy thing rather than adding it to the cart. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they have that option. I think I don't know if you can enable it on the web interface.
Yeah, it even says right here, turn on one-click ordering for this browser.
I thought you could. I just didn't see the button I usually recognize. So
I'm not logged into an account. That's why.
So, yeah, some people, I find that dangerous, because I'll impulse buy all day long and accidentally clicking the buy with one click. I like to add to the cart and compare my options and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a little bit different. So the buy box is essentially, of those 8 people selling this thing, who's the one that's automatically going to default if I click add to cart or buy now. So it's basically who's at the top of this list getting most of the sales. And a lot of people don't click that 8 new and compare the prices. They just buy the first thing that's on there. A vast majority of people do that. So getting that buy box is critical in a lot of circumstances. All right, Tim, before we move on to the next section, I think Terry has something that he wants to say about Awesome Dynamic.
I do. I do. Thank you, Paul. I want to take a minute for everybody who's joining us today to get a feel for Awesome Dynamic and some of the services that we do offer. So I want to take you for a little trip on the website here. And that's a relatively new website. I want everybody to get a chance to take a preview on that. So by this point, if you didn't know, you've probably figured out that we do some Amazon seller consulting. That's a subject that we're digging into a little bit today. We have couple different models on how we can help people. We work with new people getting on Amazon. We work with smaller companies that are on there and having issues and need some help, and very large companies that do as well. And we seem to find a lot of people having issues and needing some help, and that's what we're there to do. So we can help you with that. Also, what we're really all about is getting you targeted customers, and we do that with our responsive web design and our SEO services. So we can help you get an updated or new website. Make sure it's a responsive one, means it looks good on a tablet, smartphone, or a regular monitor. Make sure that it adjusts appropriately. Most searches these days are on the tablet or the cell phone. Want to make sure that your website looks good on both of those. That's where people are coming to see what you have to offer. And SEO to drive targeted customers to your website, people that are actually looking for what you do. In our case, with our Amazon, more specifically, we have people calling us every single day. It's my pleasure to get those calls on a regular basis. People from not just all over the country, but all over the world are finding Awesome Dynamic because of the SEO work that Robin and her gang are doing over there. And we're very proud of that. And it's a great way to increase your business. And it is the way, really, to increase your business. So those are the things that we do. We also offer a Google virtual tour, which is something that will help you let people preview your business online, and is also something that can get you a nice little SEO boost, especially if your competitors do not have one. So people can literally get on your website and sort of click around your business and see what's going on there before they actually step foot in there. So that is a quick rundown on the way we get you new targeted customers. But it's all about generating dollars, not having your website as just an online brochure, but as a way to turn people into customers. So that is a quick rundown, and we'll talk a little bit more at the end of the webinar about our website and some of the other features that are on there. But that will give you an idea of the different ways that Awesome Dynamic can help you. I am available, Director of Sales, Terry Levin, at terry@awesomedynamic.com. And of course, you see our phone number here, 800-238-1811. Give me a call and let's see how we can help. And I will then turn it back over to Tim.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry. All right. So let's move right into another program that Amazon offers to be able to advertise your product. And it's called Amazon Marketing Services, or AMS. The first thing you got to know about AMS is that it's available for vendors only. So you have to be invited to the Vendor Central program. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to basically do 3 different types of ads. The first type of ad that you can do is an Amazon branded page. What this means is that, in fact, I have an example ready and pulled up here. So let's say you have a brand of product that you want to create a web page that really showcases your product. You can actually create one on Amazon. So they call this an Amazon page. You can see here that Westcott, they are able to add in a couple of different icons up at the top here. They can add in a banner with a video that you can play right within the browser itself. And then they are able to put in here some of their top selling items. I'm not entirely sure whether or not you control what gets put into these sections, but it's just a way for you to be able to showcase your brand. And the one thing that that's really cool about it is that it's actually free to use. So, Amazon branding pages, it's a personalized landing page for that particular brand. There's only one page for brand. And again, it's free to use if you are a vendor with Amazon. Any questions about the Amazon brand pages? Doesn't look like it. All right, great. Paul, did you have something?
No, I wanted to see that example that you had pulled up.
Yeah, let me pull that back up really quick. There we go.
And this is for Westcott, right?
Yes, yes.
And as you scroll through it, obviously we have a banner ad. We have the different items that are here. There is some ability to customize how this looks. And the question that I get from a lot of folks that are manufacturers is, will this drastically make a difference in your ability to sell more product online? And remember, you're selling wholesale to Amazon. And my gut feeling is, there's a lot of, not gut feeling, what I see or what I know is you can do a lot without these extra premium services or marketing services just by having really, really well optimized listings. So Amazon will have you believe that this is something you should definitely do. And in many cases, they charge you to be able to do these things on top of buying the product. So they're buying the product wholesale. I say, you can get one of these if you pay. And they'll have you believe that it's going to make a big difference. But I just want to temper some of these different things that Tim's going to go through with that. You can do a lot more with just a really well optimized listing as opposed to using some of these services. So is it neat and is it cool that you have one of these? I would say yes. It's kind of neat that you come across a page that's branded and represents your company on their framework. But I don't think it has anywhere near as much of an impact as if you concentrate on some of the core optimization techniques on a listing by listing basis as well. So that's why I wanted to say, Tim, back to you on the next item. And Tim, you might be on mute right now.
You are absolutely correct. Thank you. Sorry, I had to switch back over to the presentation here. Okay, so yeah, some really good advice. You definitely want to be careful to not put all your, to not think that this is really going to do a lot of good for you. What's really going to do good, like Paul said, is doing your homework and getting your listings really fleshed out and looking great. So the next type of ad are product display ads, and we all are already familiar with these. I'm sorry, I had these things reversed in my notes. My apologies. Headline search ads. So headline search ads are, again, only available to vendors. But basically what it allows you to do is it's, again, targeted pay-per-click search ads. And what they do is that they appear above the search results. And I do actually have an example of this ready as well. So give me a second to pull that up. So here I search for mouse on Amazon, and you'll see that at the top here, we have like the entire top section of this monopolized by this one brand, which is Vict Sing. So they basically paid Amazon to be able to put a banner ad at the top of the page to market their particular product. But again, you can see it says sponsored, and they're going to pay for every single time that I click on one of these items.
Tim, could you use the ruler tool in your browser?
And I do not have a ruler tool, unfortunately.
I'm looking at my browser. Okay, so so it's an ad. So Tim, put your mouse in the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah.
You'll get that ruler tool, and then put it down in the lower right-hand corner. So if you were to imagine, if you draw a box around that area above the tech net, that whole comfortable mouse designed for you, and then you see the three items off to the left, that whole thing is essentially a banner. It looks like it blends in with the normal Amazon page, but that is sponsored. And it even says sponsored on it, but it isn't exactly clear. And a lot of people will click, oh, that one looks interesting. Oh, there you go, Tim.
There you go.
The drawing tool. So what Tim has circled, what Tim has rectangled is what is the headline search ad there. And that's something that's only available through the Vendor Central framework. So as you're taking a look at doing PPC advertising through Seller Central, that's not a place you can get into. And that's where the place on the right where it says sponsored, that's where you'll get into in the Seller Central framework, which Tim, you want to highlight that other area on the right there?
Yes. Sorry, I was redoing it because I don't think my screen had focus when we were talking. So, okay. But let me highlight that side over here.
So this is the side area where you can get into through Seller Central. But again, that piece at the top is not something that you get into through Seller Central. You have to get through Vendor Central for that top piece, that top banner. All right, you want to flip back to your presentation and tell us about sponsored products?
Yes. So the last item is sponsored products. So sponsored products is just like the product display ads. They're the exact same as what you do on Amazon, where you can it's display ads where you pay per click, and they're going to show up in the same places as other ones where it's going to be. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me go back here a second. I apologize. I am jumping the gun a little bit. Sponsored products is just like the sponsored products in Seller Central, but they do have one more program that's available, and that is the product placement ads, product display ads. So, unlike sponsored products where you just do general keyword search terms in order to find or to have people find your product, doing display ads is another way to do pay-per-click, but it's divided into two different targeting types. One is you can target a specific product. The other type of targeting is to target a specific interest. So if you wanted to, let's say, make your ad show up on a competitor's listing, that's where you can specify a product that you want to advertise against, and that's where you can specify that particular product. But if you want to specify an interest, something that a customer might be searching for or might be interested in, that's that kind of targeting. So you have both options available to you. And again, this is a vendor-only program. Then the display locations for the different ads are in the same places. So the product detail pages, the left rail of search results, so it's a little bit different than the other one, the bottom of search results, and the customer reviews page. So you got a couple more options, and then also you have the top of the offer listing page. So that's the specific product where you can show up at the top of that listing.
Great, thank you, Tim. Let's talk about incentivized product reviews.
Excellent. All right, incentivized product reviews. This is another way to be able to start generating buzz about your product, and that's by offering a discounted product in return for an unbiased review. And I know we've talked about this before several times, but wanted to really say how powerful it is to be able to get those reviews onto your product. So they call those incentivized reviews, where customers have to disclose the fact that they did receive a free product in exchange for the review. But it is, like I said, very, very powerful. These help boost rankings because reviews are one of the biggest items that affect your ranking on Amazon. And as I mentioned before, all of them must include an honesty disclaimer. And one thing to keep in mind is if you discount your product too much or offer for free, the reviews will become non-verified. So you have to be careful that you kind of balance them out and still get some natural reviews on your products as well.
Tim, can you explain what what an honesty disclaimer is, please?
Sure. In fact, let me see if I can go back to one of these product pages, because I can almost guarantee that there are some of these. So if I go to one of these mice and I go down over here, you'll see that under the top customer review, it says verified purchase. That means that they actually purchased the product. But if we go down to this one, you can see it says that it's not verified. Actually, it doesn't say in there any kind of warranty disclaimer or any kind of disclaimer for the product. So maybe this is a bad example. I had to find an example of that to be able to show you what it looks like.
But in general, what do they normally say?
They say, I have received this product for free in exchange for my unbiased review. They use words like that just to indicate the fact that they did not pay full price for it. And the reason why they didn't pay full price for it was because they're leaving a review, but that their opinions are still their own and that they weren't influenced by the review that's being left, or they didn't influence the review either positively or negatively for getting the product for a discount.
Great. And how would one facilitate getting on their product in a proactive way?
So Amazon, and we're going to go into this a little bit more, Amazon does have their own program that allows you to get free or discounted products. It's called the Vine program. but it's an invite-only program, and again, only available to vendors. And we're going to touch on that a little bit more in a bit. But there's a lot of third-party review sites and groups that you can go through to be able to find this information. So I just put up a bunch of different options that we've found through our years of doing this. There's Facebook groups. There's websites like Snag Shouts. There's all these different clubs. There's just a ton out there. And usually they're marketed around, get free products and, then leave a review for them and you'll keep getting more free products. So there's just a lot to name. We have personally had experience with a handful of these and can certainly make recommendations based on your specific need.
All right. Now, reviews in general, we always talk about them quite a bit and how important they are, not only for Amazon products, but also for Google reviews. We help a lot of businesses that are looking for more customers in a geographically local area. Reviews are important and influence the Google ranking in a somewhat significant way. But when it comes to Amazon, I've been asked many times, do I need to have 5,000 reviews to show up on the first page of Amazon to compete with the other people that are selling the same type of product in a competitive environment? And Tim, I'd like you to pull up the example page you had with the computer mice.
Sure.
And go back to the results that come up when you type in mouse. So taking a look at the mouse here, the first one has 9,500 reviews. The next one coming up is 4,100. If we go down a little bit more, 644. Then we can see that all of a sudden it goes back up to 7,000. Down to about 4,000. Keep scrolling down, Tim. And as we look at these, look, there's even one with 8, a total of 8. And they're showing up in the first page of Amazon, and they don't even have 100. They don't even have the 9,000 that some of these others have. So when I talk to some of these people that come to us and say, well, I don't see how I'm going to get thousands of reviews on my product. The reviews are only a piece. Yes, they're heavily weighted in terms of how the algorithm works on Amazon in terms of the ranking. You're not seeing any that don't have any reviews on here, but the pace of sale of the product can be an influencing factor, and how well the product is optimized, the listing is optimized. Do you have 8 pictures? Do you have all your bullet points filled out? Did you use the flat file method to populate the data onto the Amazon website so they've got all sorts of information about the product? Because ones that have more information versus the ones that have less can tend to rank higher and kind of trump the whole reviews are the only thing mentality in terms of ranking on Amazon. So there's more factors that can influence the ranking. So when you take a look at reviews, don't think it's the only thing that influences your ability to rank in the search results on Amazon. There's other things at play here, and that's why this guy with 8 product reviews is on the first page, is because he's got some other things going for him that the one with 9,000 does not. And look at how many pictures he's got. He's got every single picture filled out here. And yeah, so that doesn't surprise me that they're doing so well compared to, if we take a look at one of the other ones, I see tons of products with just 1 or 2 pictures. So, we could see, we didn't plan this in advance, but if we click on one of the ones that has 1,000 or something like that, or several thousand, okay, so a lot of these are doing a pretty good job having some of these different filled out, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like that flat file, and uploading that stuff can really have a drastic effect. And the pace of sale. The pace of sale within the last few days can trump a lot of things too. So things to keep in mind as you're looking at, oh my God, how am I going to get up to the first page of Amazon with my product? All right, Tim, I think we're moving on to Amazon promotion programs. Is that right?
That's correct. So let's move right into that. And of course, my animation didn't go through correctly. All right. So what are the different kind of Amazon promotion programs that they offer? So you have your standard promotions that are available through Seller Central, which helps you basically run your own promotions. So if you want to allow 50% off of a product or free shipping by blasting out an email to a bunch of your contacts or posting it to Facebook or Twitter. Recently, there's someone who knew that their product was going to be featured on a nightly news program. So they wanted to create a coupon code to allow someone to get 10 or 15% off of the product. So this is the standard promotions are a way for you to be able to have a lot of flexibility with being able to offer like buy one, get one free. And you can see all the different kind of promotions you can do. So you can do free shipping. You can do money off either by a percentage or by a dollar amounts. You can buy one, get one free, or buy two, get one free, anything like that. External benefits. So you can say if you purchase this product, then you get to, get something. You get to sign up for our exclusive newsletter. There's all sorts of different things you can, and then you can do giveaways too, which is, again, just another way to be able to generate buzz about your particular product. The next kind of Amazon sponsored program is Lightning Deals. Lightning Deals allows you to show up on the Amazon Deals page, which I don't know if you've ever seen the Amazon Deals page, and I think I may have to log into an Amazon account in order to see this. But
I can discuss further if you want, Tim, while you look that up.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Blake.
All right. So an Amazon Lightning Deal is essentially a promotion that has a limited number of discount offers on an item that you have for sale. And it's only for a short period of time. And that short period of time is typically 4-hour blocks or until all of your promotional products are claimed/sold. And safeguards in place. For example, only one customer can purchase a discounted item, so that if it really is a good deal, which it usually is, one single person can't clear you out, and everyone kind of gets to spread the wealth. There is no guarantee, but products that are featured in Amazon's Lightning Deals typically enjoy a bump in sales throughout the duration of the deal. But you got to keep in mind that as a seller, you're essentially sacrificing profit in the form of a discount, but it's a great marketing tool to raise awareness for the product and or brand. And this essentially can also help you bump up in the search rankings. And these spaces that you get advertised on is not only Amazon's homepage under the Today's Deals link, and it's usually found at the top of the homepage. They change it sometimes, but also people who are subscribed to Amazon's emails get this link. Amazon's mobile app get it. They post this on Twitter, Facebook, and again, the homepage sometimes. So it's a very powerful tool that allows you to really create brand awareness only for a small chunk of time. But there are requirements, and some of these requirements is some categories have a charge. Let me just preface this with including usually apparel, watches, shoes, jewelry, and luggage. And not always, but sometimes Amazon feels like they want to charge you as a seller this fee. But the other requirements are the deal must be at least 20% off or more of the current buy box price. Amazon is going to set a minimum deal quantity, which means they're going to require you put up at least a certain amount of products for this promotion. And it changes per product and category, so there's no set number. The product that you're selling must have a price greater or equal to $10 US. And this is actually only available to third-party sellers only. So this is not available in the Vendor Central program. And your product also must be in the FBA program, which means you are sending this product into Amazon's warehouse and you have the Prime sticker. The item must be new and not used. And no add-on items, which is typically very small items. And Amazon probably doesn't want to ship out a deeply discounted, very small item because of their logistics. Your item must have 3.5 review stars overall, but if it has none, Amazon can make exceptions, and because this is essentially application based, so you tell Amazon which items you want to sell, it's probably computer based, but there is still essentially an application process. And for products that have variations, aka childs, all variations must be discounted and participate in the deal. So that's lightning deals in a nutshell.
Great job, Blake. Very comprehensive review. And Tim, we're taking a look at some of the lightning's deals, and I kind of want that button lock thing. I think I'd like to get that. It's the best deal of the day.
The button lock, which one was that one? This first one here?
Yes, exactly.
This may not be a lightning deal. I'm not sure, because the lightning deals usually show this, where it shows that it's a discounted price and it ends in a certain amount of time.
Well, that one's got a counter on it, but I digress.
Oh, okay.
Amazon Vine.
Yes, Amazon Vine. So we kind of touched on it earlier. The Amazon Vine program is only available to Amazon vendors, and it's a way for you to be able to market to frequent reviewers on Amazon, and they basically sign up for this newsletter. They're handpicked based on their history with leaving reviews, the ability to be able to leave thorough, complete, and honest reviews on products. And so if you get into the Vine program, you can get your product for free in front of all, and not, you have to pay, I believe you have to pay a fee to be able to participate, but you get to get into this newsletter to say, like, hey, here's all the free Vine products to all of our Vine members for this month. Pick out which one you want, and we'll send it out to you. So it's an incentivized review, but it's an officially sanctioned review program by Amazon.
All right. So out of all these different things we can do, because we're kind of at the end of our presentation here, what should I do to promote my products on Amazon? You get people that are Terry, tell us some of the questions that people ask you when they call in wanting help, and the situations they're in and what they've done and all that kind of stuff, and we'll have a chat about it.
Well, the main thing, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to go there myself. People are calling me every day, and they're looking to, how can I increase my sales? And the short answer that I give them all the time, all these things here can help and maybe helpful to your particular situation. But it's our belief, and you guys could clarify this for me, but it's our belief that a great listing with great pictures and great content that compels people to buy the product is the key to the Amazon success.
Yeah, that's so true. A lot of folks just struggling with I want to sell more. And if let's say they're a manufacturer in Vendor Central, or if they're selling through the Seller Central framework, they have a lot. Each side has a lot of these promotional programs available to them. And just like I see in SEO all the time, people are looking for, the pay-per-click, I guess I got to do that. Or I got to pay Amazon to promote these products. And that isn't necessarily true. That's why the word optimization exists. Optimization is really positioning your product in the best light. Does it feel like it's worth as much as you have it listed for? Is that done well through the title of the product, the bullets of how the product is described, and the pictures that are presented? We've seen a lot of folks just put the facts about their product as the bullet points, which is good to give your customers the facts of what they're getting. But if you have the opportunity to compel them, like why should I buy this over the competitors? What makes yours unique over the other one? How is it going to change my life versus some other product that's out there? Really capture their interest and compel them to want to buy your product. And then the pictures, equally as important. Do the lifestyle pictures. Show the product in action. Show happy people using the product. Those pictures are often underrated, but can have a huge emotional impact on the buying process and can cause people to have a greater impulse buy likelihood, because those things are customized in the right way. So that optimization of the photos, how you write your stuff, and even the way you put the stuff in. Sellers and vendors are often using, let's say, the web interface, sellers especially, the web interface to populate information about their products. But they have a flat file that allows you to get a lot more information about your product, the materials made out of, the different dimensions of the product, a lot more, like tons more than what's available in the web interface. And then you're also able to get your product into very finite categories. And on the left side, when you whittle down by category, you can get into all those things and give yourself a lot of advantages just by going to that technical depth of how you put the product in. So those things are often underrated, not really talked about a lot, not really. Yeah, you can look at it and find it in the help files, and I'll tell you how to do all of it. But Amazon doesn't really do a good job at highlighting the importance of doing that, and they'd rather obviously have you spend money on some of the programs that are pay to play, rather than tell you, hey, you can do all these things and really do well without having to pay us, because obviously that's not to their advantage. So those are some really hardcore things that you have to look at. Tim has a great story of just going from seller on the seller side, going from fulfillment by merchant to fulfillment by Amazon. A lot of people are resistant to use the FBA program, where you essentially send your product in bulk to the Amazon warehouse, and you got to pay more fees for that. Well, I don't want to pay Amazon more fees. I'm already paying them 15%, and then I can make money on the shipping and all this other business that we hear all the time. But Tim helped a guy that went from, I think, ranking of 600,000 in cell phone accessories to a ranking of, what was it, like 2,000 or 3,000, Tim?
Yeah, so basically they were not even getting the buy box for the product. They were unable to advertise on the product. I mean, they had all sorts of things that were just not going well for them. But through getting the product into the FBA program, it solved a lot of those problems right off the bat and started to get some exposure that it never had before, just by going from, like Paul said, somewhere in the hundreds of thousands all the way down to about a couple thousand in ranking. And this is one of those things where the lower the number, the better. So yeah, it was quite a transformation and was an immediate change just by doing one thing different.
And so I want to go back to the pictures and bullets. I have a great example of that one. We helped a guy that has a hair dryer and has an adjustable nozzle on it so it doesn't hurt your shoulder when you're trying to blow dry your hair. And it's specifically made for folks that have bad shoulders. And he came to me and he said, I've listed my product on Amazon. I'm not getting anywhere with it. I'm just fed up and I'm ready to quit. What can you do to improve it? And I looked at the listing. The pictures are blurry, and they were taken on a kitchen table. And the bullets talked about how many watts and what the temperature range of the hairdryer was. And I told him, women don't care about all that stuff that it might be buying this hairdryer. Men or whoever's buying it, they don't want to know the watts and the heat ranges. And if they look at a picture that looks like very amateurish on a wooden kitchen table that isn't professionally done, you're going to be really skeptical just by seeing that. And you see all the wattages, like, why? And in the most important selling point of his hairdryer about how it helps folks with bad shoulders to blow dry their hair by adjusting the nozzle wasn't highlighted in any way in the pictures or in the description or in the bullets or in the title. And that is just so important. That's why his hairdryer is better or unique from the other thousands of hairdryers that are on Amazon. I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of hairdryers on Amazon, but he didn't even highlight that one very important point. So those little things can make a huge difference in selling. And if you just think about it, okay, well, I'm going to do a lightning deal on this hairdryer. I'm going to do pay-per-click on this hairdryer, or whatever of the different things that we talked about. Well, if you're going to drive more people to a listing that isn't good, you're not going to get any conversion. So you have to always think about that human side. And on SEO, we always talk about the human and technical side of SEO. Well, when someone comes to the listing, the product listing, we need to appeal to the emotion and really get them interested and compelled to be like, yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. Wow, I can see myself in that place. They're not thinking, look at that happy guy drinking the energy drink. But they do see, yeah, that's why advertising on TV and everything else is really, there's a lot of strategy behind it. And that's exactly what we're suggesting you do to really optimize your listings, to really compel people, have them put themselves in the shoes of the person they see in the image and all that kind of stuff. So that stuff really has a huge impact. Terry, you got some comments on that? And you're on mute.
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up pretty well. I mean, the one thing I just want to emphasize based on the whole thing we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes, sometimes I even feel like some of the clients are disappointed when I talk about, optimizing the listing and how that's really the key to success. Because, I think they think there's a magic bullet somewhere in there that maybe they're missing. And one of these things we talked about today, and we're not downplaying that, there's some value to a lot of these things. But the key to success still, as far as we're concerned, and we have, client after client to prove it, is the optimization of the listing. As you said, a great title of the product, great pictures, including hopefully lifestyle pictures, and the great content that compels the people. People don't necessarily want to know, and there is a place to put how big is the item, what is it made of, but those are not the kind of things that are going to compel someone to, click that button and buy something. So those are the ways that we find our best success. And if you start with those and get those done, I think you'll realize that. And then there may be room to, to explore some of these other options that can help as well. But I mean, I really just feel that that's the key. And, like sometimes there is that almost level of disappointment because they think there's some secret weapon there that they haven't explored yet, and they may feel their listing is optimized, and they may find out after we discuss it a little bit that there could be some help to making it better. But that's really, as far as we're concerned, and the track record's there to prove it, that's how things get done.
Yeah, Terry, I'm going to turn it back to you for wrap up in 1 second. There's a lot of these folks that are disappointed with that, and they bought softwares to help them analyze other products. They're grasping at straws. Like, what can I do to promote my sales? I've tried this, I've tried that, I bought all these software, I've done all these different things. And we come and look at the list and you're like, you need 8 pictures. There's no lifestyle photos. Let's get all the angles of the pictures on there. Let's write some better descriptions. And we do it, and they start selling. And it's one of those things that it's just that those core principles really go a long way. All right, let's wrap it up, Terry. Tell us when. Tell us. Do the wrap up. Do your thing.
Yes, sir. All right. So back to talking about the website real quick and recapping our services. Again, we are here every Thursday at 12:30 Central Time for this webinar. Bring your friends, colleagues, bring questions. We can do reviews of your website if that's something you're interested in. 800-238-1811 or terry@awesomedynamic.com. You can review past webinars at your leisure by going to the webinar tab up on the top of the page there. And you can, spend a lot of time looking and finding particular subjects that you're interested in. There's also a listing right there that you can see of all the webinars that we've done lately. And, don't be afraid if you have a topic you want to discuss. I think, we would entertain putting that up and getting it going too. So feel free to do that. We can also get you on our awesome list. So you can be kept up to speed on everything that's going on at Awesome Dynamic on our mailing list. So we'd encourage you to join on there as well and take advantage of that. Live events, when we have them locally, you will find on our website as well. And there we go. There's our awesome list. And last but not least for me, I always want to encourage you to give us a 5-star Google review should you have found some value and interest in what we've presented for you today or at any time. And you can go right down here, and there you go. There's your thumbs up button. We would really appreciate that. It's very important to our business to get a review from you, and we'd love to have you go ahead and do that for us. So keep your questions, get some questions, get some ideas on things you might want to see on here. We'd be more than interested in hearing about it and helping. We will see you every Thursday at 12:30 Central Time. And Awesome Dynamic, thank everybody for coming today, and we will see you next week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't forget to demand awesome.
There you go. Oops.